I think it's very elegant, like very elegant. Today, we're doing the Frost TKL. This board, I'm sad I didn't get the lavender one to show you guys because it makes more sense in the theme of the board. But this one is called the Frost, and it's supposed to be based off of Emilia from REZERO, I believe. It's been a while since I've seen REZERO. It's a nice color though, I have to admit. Don't think I've ever seen a keyboard this color. And then we got some other stuff in the package here. So this is going to be a traditional top mount. Now, I'm going to be straightforward with you guys. I'm a little bit curious on the mounting style on this because it is traditional top mount and it is going to be having an alu plate. So I don't know how much I'm going to love that combo, and that's a personal bias of my own. But it does have these things called poron washers, which are supposed to help isolate some of the nastiness of, I guess, the metallic resonance of the board. So I'm very curious on how that's going to perform. Beautiful looking color though. I'm going to be honest, the plate color doesn't make as much sense though. I think this is kind of an awkward color combination a little bit. I would have liked this to be more neutral. It's okay, it's just a plate, I get that. I would still like the plate color to be a little bit more neutral. If you guys are ever building a keyboard and you guys are strapped for ideas for what to do for a plate, silver and black, you can't go wrong. You can't. Give me ocean vibes. Yeah, it reminds me of those like, I think there was a Switch that kind of had those colors too. And then the classic. I don't care what you guys say. This is peak performance. Peak performance for a PCB. There's nothing else you can say to me. Green is peak performance. But lots of plate options too. I don't know if lots of PCB options, but I don't know if the plate supports that. So even though this does have a lot of options, I mean, it supports enough of it being win keyless as well. I would have liked the plate to support a little bit more, but I guess it doesn't. It's okay. We got a little pin from Keypport. This is always very, very cute. And then what else we got in here? Every time I try to the Discord link, it freezes my phone. I don't know if it's a mobile thing. And then we have some screws. We have some feet in here, which we'll use. We have our daughter boards, I guess. And then we should also have another daughter board. I'm not sure why there's so many daughter boards. And then we also have the poron gaskets. So this is going to be an interesting little build. I'm not sure these will do as much as I think they're going to do because these get laid over here. But we'll see. We'll see what it all does. This is the other part of the board we're going to kind of discuss. So the keyboard's very low front height. The keyboard's 17.8. This front height is also amazing. I personally really like low front height keyboards. So it's about 18. We'll just round it up to 18, but I believe it's, to be exact, it's 17.8. So to compensate for some of that, we've seen other boards do this too. Even Mode's done this in some other boards. It's to compensate for the low front height. You kind of have to add these kind of like, I don't know what to even call them, channels for the switches, so it doesn't bottom out. I think it's very elegant, like very elegant. So I really appreciate that. And then the bottom is very simplistic. I think the bottom kind of works though, because at least you get some added detail with these little pieces on the side here. But I would have liked to see maybe, and maybe this is just me, and I know this would go against, oh God, my throat today, against the design entirely. But I would have loved to see these kind of flare up all the way. Now, Ano on these pieces is not that good. I did take a long look at this prior and was like, well, is it me? Like, what is this about the Ano here? You guys might be able to see, but there is some streaking. So there is some streaking on this. I'm hoping this is just a prototype thing. But I'm not too sure. Really not too sure. But It does have a really cool weight on the bottom with the little Keyport logo. I think this is like beautifully done. Really, really like that. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's really the board though, guys. It's a pretty, like I said, very pretty side profile. Really enjoy that. So but yeah, very, very cool. The front actually has a little bit of like that detailing on it too, which is nice. So very, very cool. I was going to use Sumi, but if you guys want to use Purple Night, we can use Purple Night. We'll vote. We'll vote towards the period of time when we do that. So it's going to be targeted below $300 with an MOQ of just 50. So yeah, that seems like a decent price. I don't think that's like awful. Saw you building a tat anywhere. Any thoughts? I like the tat. I thought it was nice. The poron discs are an afterthought to fix a poor design. Do not buy this. Goblin, I don't think you even need to use these. From what I understand and from other things I've read, these are just something you can add into it. It's a top mount. It's going to probably sound like a top mount. I'm probably not going to use these to start, but I am interested in the future to see if that helps with any design. I also don't think using poron is necessarily poor design choice if it's intentional. So I don't know. I think that's a very like bad way to look at things without even trying it first and just kind of writing things off. Side profile does look nice, though it might be hard to pick up the board if it's chunky. Yeah, that's the one thing I like about having. That's why I mentioned I would like to see maybe this extended a little bit more. I personally really like having a way to kind of grab keyboards. I mean, the Promise sort of has that too. That box on wedge design more so. But I don't really like. I don't really mind this being this way. Dude, this kind of does. Someone just said this looks like the Discord logo, and it kind of low-key does. It's Keyport's logo. It's supposed to be like a face, but that's not there. But yeah, it kind of does look like a squished-in Discord logo. It does a little bit. Yeah, you know what? This is kind of growing on me. Again, just to talk a little bit about the keyboard, I do wish this extended down a little bit more, and I wish the Anna was a little bit better on this. I do see a lot of banding on it, but not a big deal. I would like, again, personally would really like to be cleaned up for the final, I guess, project for this. That almost needs to be cleaned up. Close-up of the Anno, yes. So you can kind of, I don't know if you guys can see that. I don't know if it's like there, but you can see the banding on it. It's subtle, but it's there, right? It is a pretty unique color. Just a little cleaning up, just a tiny little bit of cleaning up on this, that's it. Like, it's good in some areas, and like right over here, it kind of just looks... Yeah, this is a cute little weight, I do agree. It is cute. I love the color of this though. Yeah, it is very pretty. Let's unscrew the rest, and I'll put some feet on, then we can tie this board all up. Oh. So there's the top piece. I mean, the internals look great. There is no anything on the internals. I just want this quality on the outside, not the inside. Like, that looks great. Also, props to Keyport for not putting a mounting point underneath the spacebar. I still don't understand why a lot of people do that. That metal has a lot of ping. We'll see once it's all put together. That's just the top plate. Really hoping this sounds good though. The flash sounded good. The last Keyport keyboard I did. Wire is like bending every single time I try to close the case, outside of the case. Come on, wire. Stay in place. Oh my God, please, for the love of... There we go. Tape it. I got it, yeah, we're good. That was a little embarrassing, but we got it. I kind of like the blocker. Okay, there is a version of this that's lavender with a silver blocker. I think the silver blocker does look a little nicer, personally. Why is my side camera so dark? But I don't mind this. I don't think this is bad looking at all. I low-key like the blocker. That's just, again, personal preference. I don't think I'm going to do the red enter and escape. I think we're just going to go basic for this. I don't even think we need to put on those poron pads. So here's the board one last time. Really, honestly, I'm kind of really vibing with the side profile. I do wish it did this and kind of like became like a wedge type thing, like a box on wedge style design. But low-key, this reminds me of a character in a game. It's based off of Emilia from REZERO. Like, this sounds pretty solid already. Here, I'll give you guys a little HJ test right now. Oh, my H and J are wrong. This is not a good look. It's a JH now. JH test. Keep it that way. All right, here's a little HJ test for you guys. Ooh, the W's not. And then a little DN test. And this is top mount with an aluminum plate. We're using Oil King switches that I did go back and re-lube. It does sound full to me, like just up based off of alphas. It sounds like a good top mount. All right, let's see what this sounds like then. Let me plug it in. No God like up arrow. I don't mind the up arrow here. Better than some other keyboards. Pleasant top mount, not too airy. Yeah, usually with top mounts with aluminum plate, they become very like aluminum sounding. And, you know, it's not a bad thing. It's top mount. The mods are pretty crispy. I like this. I'm surprised I like this though, because I usually don't like aluminum top mount. Spacebar is a little quieter. I'm sure that can be remedied with a long pull switch. I'm using GAT Oil Kings. Now, I'm going to open this up and put in those pads that we didn't put in and see what it sounds like after that. But I don't know if it's going to do anything. I can't imagine it does anything. We'll see. This is nice. I like this. Sounds like a PC plate. Sort of, yeah. It actually does sound like a PC plate ever so slightly. You are right. Almost kind of forgot it was aluminum while I was typing on it. I need the other bit for this too. This I don't like. I really don't like the fact that I need 2 bits to open up the bottom. Kind of don't understand why that was built this way, but I feel like this is kind of silly. I don't know what this is going to do though. I assume this will keep the plate from going lower than... You know what? I have a weird feeling it's gonna maybe act as some support, but I mean, like, it's a top mount with an aluminum plate, right? But another part of me thinks that maybe that those little poron pads are put in there to like clean up some of the sound profile, but I'm honestly not sure. Fronts, need to screw in this side. I don't notice anything with these. Do you guys hear any difference here? Cozy Ghost, thank you. You know what? I think you're a little bit right there, Mel. I think maybe the slightest bit less resonance. No, the spacebar doesn't sound worse. Spacebar is just light on this. It's not like a very like in-your-face spacebar. You know what? I do agree though, Stealth. I liked it better without the poron pads. I think it works better as a TKL with top mount. So yeah, I mean ultimately it still sounds good. I do think it cleaned up a little bit. I wonder if you end up taking out some of the poron, like you don't add all of it in certain places. You know what though, Mal? I totally agree with you. Oil Kings are not as like heavy hitting, but I kind of like it in this board. Because I picked them specifically because it was a top mount aluminum plate. Yeah, I mean the alphas are nice. Top mount PC would have been a different story, to be honest. If this had top mount PC, this would have been probably like, I like the alphas a lot. A go-to for me to use long pull, but no, this is nice. It's nice. Okay, one thing that absolutely needs to be done with this though, this anode banding needs to be changed. Like maybe use a different anodizer, I don't know. That needs to be addressed. That is some pretty crazy anode band on the back. Again, I guess not a huge deal in the grand scheme of things. This doesn't matter to you, but I personally think it matters. So that's my only real complaint other than using two different screws to the bottom. I have no other complaints with this. If you were looking for a top mount TKL, I think this works. I think this like does what it's set out to do. Looks pretty. I like the look of it. I think the colors is nice. But have a good one. Take care, everyone, and good night. Bye-bye, everyone.